So we first met through a mutual friend when I was 13 and Mike was 15, and it was a friend that I had met on a cruise and that he was friends with back in Kansas. So he introduced us, and we would talk here and there throughout the years, just through messages or emails and things like that. But it wasn't really until my freshman year of college when we first really started talking more and getting to know each other, and I thought he was really cool and just really enjoyed talking to him. And then when he visited in San Francisco, I really started to see what a cool guy he was and that there was something special there between us. And so, yeah, I was really excited to get to know him more and all of that.
So I thought Kaya was awesome. I'm usually pretty shy and hard to open up around other people, but after meeting Kaya for like 5 minutes, we were joking like we'd been best friends for forever. And and the more I got to know her, I got to know that she was smart, kind, generous, and I thought she was out of my league.
No.
Yeah.
What I first thought about Mike, I could definitely tell that he was shy, but like he said, he quickly opened up to me and we were laughing endlessly and our sense of humor aligned so well, and I loved that because we could be silly with each other, and I also thought that he was very kind. Like everyone that he met and everyone that he was introduced to, he just had this really caring, kind way to him. And he's also just he was laid back and easygoing, and that was really, really awesome as well. He was just an all-over kind and sweet guy. And cute. We had been talking for a while, and Mike had visited a few times, and because we were long distance, Mike was halfway across, the country. We didn't really know what our relationship was going to come to be because, we were young, and again, the distance was so much, but it came to a point where we just knew that we liked each other so much and we cared about each other, and so we decided, even though we didn't know what was going to happen, we wanted to at least give it a shot.
Yeah, and I just remember that night, I was super nervous because I didn't know how it was going to go. We were far, like you said, far apart. We don't get to see each other for months at a time, and so, but I knew at that time that I wanted to ask her to be my girlfriend, and hopefully she'd say yes, and she did.
I did.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
I was the one to say it first, actually. It was about 5 months into our relationship. I had gone to fly out to see her, and it kind of just casually slipped out while we were hanging out one night, and
I don't know that I'd say totally casually. So before he said I love you, I kind of kept wanting to tell him that I loved him, so I'd always say like, I really like you, or I really like this about you, because I didn't want to be too forward in saying it first. I wanted to make sure he felt the same way, and so I just kept holding back, but I really wanted to say it. And so it was one day it was just us two, and we were just talking, hanging out, and then he started getting quieter, and I was like, what's going on? And then his breathing was a little bit weird, and so I was like, are you okay? And he goes, well, I'm just nervous. And I was like, nervous about what? And he goes, to tell you something. And I go, oh, no, to tell me what? Because I was kind of nervous about it too now. And he said, to tell you that I love you. And that moment was just so special to me because I'd wanted to tell him so long that I loved him. And until then, I hadn't gotten to. So it was really special to be able to hear that and then to finally get to tell him that I loved him too. So I don't know that I can really pinpoint a time, or a moment that was when I definitely knew that it was meant to be, but I just know that when we were, dating and doing the long distance thing, it was difficult, and I knew that our relationship was building and growing, but it was, slower growing because we were dealing with going months without getting to see each other. And while it was so great, we still had no idea what was going to happen to our relationship, where was it going to go with us being so far apart. And I think what cemented the idea that he could be the one and that we were meant to be was when he made the sacrifice of moving to San Francisco, and so we were able to be in the same city and get to build our relationship that way. And so I was nervous and I was scared because we had never lived in the same city, and so it would definitely be a new experience in our relationship. But I was excited, and that really solidified the fact that he felt the same way, that he was serious about this relationship and he wanted to see where it could go, and taking it to that next level of him being in the same city was definitely a point where I was like, wow, I think he could definitely be the one.
And I knew before, I had a hunch before that you were the one, before I moved to San Francisco. But what really solidified it for me was afterwards, because I was moving from small town in Kansas to big San Francisco, my first own apartment, and Kaya's generosity and love and support really made me feel like she was there for me and I wanted to be there for her forever.
So Mike proposed after we had been dating for 7 years, and I kind of got to the point where I was like, it had been 7 years of dating, and I was like, does he want to get married? Does he want to, get engaged and be, go that next step? And we talked about it and stuff, but it hadn't happened. And so those kind of conversations of like, so you still want to, right? Like that started happening. And, but then he proposed, and you want to tell the story?
Yeah, so I had known a little bit prior to going to San Francisco on our vacation. And I wanted to keep it a surprise, like she said. So I called the photographer and got that all set up, and somehow she didn't find out, because she finds everything out.
I did find everything out. You did a good job, though.
Yeah, so I took her to a spot across from the Golden Gate Bridge, and
with this like amazing view of like the bridge and the entire city skyline.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And so we get there, and my photographer's late, of course, but we made it work. And kind of. I had to stall for about 30 minutes because he was running way behind because of traffic. And
so we took the pictures that I wanted, and we kind of looked at the bridge and reminisced about the adventures that we had had. And then I was kind of like, all right, let's go. And he's like, well, like maybe let's wait a little bit. I'm like, it's kind of cold. And he's like, but wouldn't it be cool to see like the lights come up on the city in the city? And I was like, I
want to see it at night.
That's true. Yeah, okay. So we waited a little bit longer.
Then I finally got a text from my photographer, and we made eye contact. I knew it was him, and he set up, and so that was my moment. So I gave her this letter I wrote her, because I couldn't say it out loud, otherwise I'd cry. And I had her read it, and by the time she finished reading, I was down on my knees and I asked her if she would marry me. And she said yes.
And from my perspective of it, the whole day was totally normal, and then when we got to that point and we were waiting a little bit longer, I didn't really think anything of it still. And then I didn't really realize anything was happening until, like his breathing kind of got a little bit weird. He got quiet, and I was like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah. And he paused a little bit more, and then soon after was when he gave me the letter to read, and I was just reading the letter like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what does it say? And then afterwards, when I put the letter away, he got down and asked me to marry him. Mike, I can't believe today is our wedding day and that we are officially married. I've been waiting for this day for so long, and it's finally here, and I'm sure it's amazing. I can't wait for our future together and to see what life has in store for us. I'm so excited to adventure with you, to grow old with you, and to spend every day of my life with you. Thank you so much for all the support that you've given me throughout the years, the endless love, always telling me every single day how much you love me and never letting a day go by without making me feel that way. And thank you so much for choosing me. I love you.
So Kaya, if you see this, then we're married and we're at our reception right now. I just want to say thank you so much for always being so supportive and loving and helping me through everything. You've been nothing but the best thing in my entire life. I love you so much. I can't wait to see what comes next in our life, what adventures we're going to have and who we're going to have them with, and maybe kids? I don't know. But I'm excited, and let's see where this goes. I love you.
We want to thank you all for coming to our wedding. It wouldn't have been the same without you, and it was so great that we were able to celebrate with all of you. We want to thank our parents as well for helping us host this amazing wedding, the dream wedding. And thank you all for being a part of our lives throughout these years and for supporting us and showing your love along the way as well.
And a big thanks for all those that came out from all over the country. It means a lot that you guys would spend the time and money traveling just to see us get married, even though it's pretty important. Thank you, Uncle Gary, for being the officiant. We really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, that was very, very special to us. And also thank you to our bridesmaids and our groomsmen for putting up with us for the past year.
Sorry.
and helping to plan and celebrating with us and figuring this whole thing out and having it come to this point has been amazing. So we really appreciate all of our friends, family, and everyone for being here with us tonight.